All right, hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. This is Rudy. Hey, I just got visited by the Secret Service, and Obama's Secret Service came out, and I wanted to capture some thoughts while it's still fresh in my head. I just watched a little bit of the video. I don't. It's going to go up on the Texas Deacons channel, and I might put it on my channel eventually, but I got to cut it up into two parts. But they identified themselves from the Secret Service. They showed up at a decent time, right after work, and they didn't show up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I don't think they were trying to be intimidating. You know, they were very nice and cordial, and they were doing their job. One thing I learned when I watched that video is how fat I am. Man, I got to lose some weight, man. It's like you guys are going to see the side view of me, and it's like, you know, my whole dang stomach's pooching out, and it's like I need to lose some more weight. So I'm going to start exercising more. But in any event, They were trying to evaluate me to determine if I'm a nut. They were asking me, I told them I don't trust our government, and they said, we don't trust any of our presidents. I said, well, I think the New World Order has put most of our presidents in place recently, you know. But I think that kind of raised their eyebrows to make them think I'm a little crazy. But see, you know, they asked me if I have, I'm trying to remember some of the questions they asked me that they could go back and have problems with. They asked me how many brothers I have. They wanted the details of my brothers' names, and I didn't want to give them any details. One of my brothers has passed away. He messed his life up on drugs, so he was mentally insane. They did ask me, is there any does your family have any mental problems? And I have, I'm the youngest of 4 brothers. And the middle 2 brothers, Ronnie and Robert, they messed their lives up on drugs. It's not a mental problem they were born with. They just messed up on drugs. And so that's why I don't do drugs, right? That was, you know, but my brother Robert, he passed away from cancer, but my dad took care of him for 20 years. So the reason I'm saying this is they asked me, does any of your family have any history of mental disorder, right? Because they're trying to evaluate if I'm a nut. And I told them no. The reason I told them no is because my brothers weren't born with a mental disorder. They just messed their life up on drugs. And of course, Ronnie, he's in a halfway institution right now. And I'm his legal guardian. And so I'm Ronnie's legal guardian, and my dad asked me to take over that role because my dad's getting old in his age and he needed me to do it. But when they go back and they try to determine whether I've been truthful or lying, they're going to say, well, look, he did have 2 brothers that were mentally, but that's not, they weren't born with it. They just messed their life up on drugs, you know, all the drugs they were doing back in the 60s and 70s. What other questions did they ask me? They asked me if I had any guns, and I said, yeah, I sure do. And they asked me, did you register them? And I was like, no, I don't register them. What do you mean register them? You know, I buy them at a gun store and I take them home. So they asked me if I had any military training. I told them I'd never been in the military. My dad was a Marine and my brother was a Marine, but I've never been in the Marine. I tried to educate them a little bit, but you know, I don't know if they're listening to anything I say about Terry Lakin and Jerome Corsi and all the evidence of the literary agent bio and the fact that his Sheriff Arpaio, they look like they don't even know who Sheriff Arpaio is. When I mention Sheriff Arpaio's name, I got a blank stare, like, you know, what are you talking about? They asked me where I work, and I told them it's none of their business, you know. What else? I didn't tell them it's none of their business. I said that I just gave them a general description. It's like, look, I don't need anybody prying into my private life. I'm not all about telling the truth, but I do have a private life, and I want to keep it private as much as possible. But if somebody, you know, I'm not gonna sacrifice saying the truth because I'm worried about losing my private life. I will say the truth even if I have to lose my private life. Overall, my impression is they were friendly, although the black guy, they sent a black and a white guy. The black guy was he was trying to be the, you know, they play good cop, bad cop. So the black guy was playing bad cop, the white guy was playing good cop, and the black guy was saying, you know, he thinks I threatened the president. And I said, once he's convicted in a court of law, and obviously the black guy has a problem with the death penalty because he said, what if they decide to send him to prison? And he was like, well, no, if it's high treason, then in my opinion, if I'm on the jury, you know, I believe that there are crimes that are deserving of the death penalty, right? And so once you've convicted in a court of law and you've had your due process, I do believe in the death penalty. But he obviously don't. He has a big problem, and he was saying, well, he was pushing, like, you know, he wasn't saying he agreed Obama was guilty. He wasn't saying that, but he seemed to have a problem with me advocating the death penalty for certain crimes, like high treason. And they didn't like the fact that we did. They didn't stop us, but you can tell. He said, "We prefer you not to record it." And I said, "Well, we're on my property, and I have a camera, and I do want to record it. So we did. And I know the film is, it's not all that good, and the sound ain't that good. But you just can't get set up for these things, like you want to, right? You just can't predict when the Secret Service is going to be knocking on your door. I don't know if they're coming back tonight. They may go back, run their records, find some kind of thing, and they may have an order come down from Obama or his administration to go kill him, or go take him out like they did the people in Waco. You can't tell me. I know what happened in Waco. Go watch Waco: A New Revelation, and watch Waco: Rules of Engagement. I know what they do. See, they don't know what they do. If these people, they think they're just following orders, right? And I think the white guy, I got the impression the white guy was like, he was doing his job. He wanted to do a good job, but I gathered like that's what he wanted to do. He just wanted to do his job. Now the black guy, I got a feeling it was more personal for him. I don't know if they were playing bad cop, good cop, and he's putting on a show, because like all these narcotics agents and these officers, they never reveal their true side. They're always like trying to test your assessment of your personality and stuff like that. But the black guy, I got the impression he personally didn't like me, right? That he, just his facial expressions, and he don't like me, right? And he don't like me talking about death penalty for treason, and once you go through a court of law, and hey, I don't have any hard feelings against these guys. They're trying to do what they think is right. At least I hope they are. But we really do have an illegal alien as our president, a commander-in-chief and a usurper. And we really do. You guys think some of you people that are coming to the channel new, and you're not keeping up with Sheriff Arpaio, you're not keeping up with all the evidence. Dr. Orly Tates is released. Jerome Corsi's where is the birth certificate. You're not aware of Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin. You're not aware of Air Force Staff Sergeant Darren G. Moran. You never read Amber DeVitel's Law of Nation. You never read Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution about natural born citizen. You're thinking like, this guy's a nut. This guy's crazy. But, since I'm more educated and I'm actually spent a lot of time studying it, I know that he's illegal. I know that he's not eligible to be president. And so when I speak that in a confident way, like he's an illegitimate president, and he's usurped the power of commander-in-chief and got our nuclear codes, I say it as a fact because I put enough study into it that I know it. But see, these people, they don't have all that history. So they just look at me like, this guy's crazy. And so that's the disconnect. That's the disconnect. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to advocate anybody. If anybody's out there watching any of my videos, let me say this right up front. I don't want you to go hurt anyone. Don't hurt Obama. Don't hurt anybody in the administration. But let's push for the truth, and let's do it the legal way until if they attack us first. Now, if somebody's attacking you, I don't see how anybody can argue that we shouldn't be able to defend ourselves, right? We have the right to defend ourselves, but we're not at the point where we're advocating violence, and I hope we don't get there, man. I want to do this peacefully. But anyway, kind of exciting evening. My wife and I are going to go have dinner, and we're going to walk the dogs, and we're going to trust in the Lord, and we're going to pray that more people will wake up, and I can't think of anything else to add right now. Let's just continue to pray and trust in the Lord, and God bless every one of you. Have a great day.